What is up, guys? Welcome to another video. Hope that you guys are all doing good. In this video, we're going to break down Taylor Swift and the controversy around her new album. Apparently, a lot of people hate it. I listened a little bit to the album. I could not get through it just because I'm not really a Swiftie.
Taylor Swift's new album is many things. Unfortunately, good is not one of them. Okay. I knew the album wasn't going to be good as soon as the title was revealed, but the promo pics made me curious, so I have listened to the album in full. And now, having listened to it, the album's problem is glaringly obvious. The problem is Taylor Swift is aging out of being a white girl.
Yeah.
Before you scroll, let me cook. When Taylor was a teenager, she wanted to be a pop star, so her parents decided to take the country route. Keep in mind, this is the 2000s. Pop music was highly sexual, it was sleazy, and then you had things like bling rap. It's not a place for a little white girl. Country music, on the other hand, loves a little white girl, and she's blonde, they'll eat her up. So her family moved from Pennsylvania to Tennessee to launch her country career. That's why for the first several years of her career, she faked a southern accent. She was trying to fit in, seem authentic.
I think Taylor Swift is popular because when she came out, she was very clean, and she was a white girl, and she made country music. And if you look at a lot of country artists, they make songs about Jesus Christ. And if you look at who voted for Donald Trump, Christians, mostly Christians. If you look at Charlie Kirk as well, his audience is Christians. So a lot of these Christians have these pure ideals. I think that is what she tapped into, and that's why she can't really demonize Trump, because their audience is one of the same. So that is the genesis of why Taylor Swift acts the way that she acts. The innocent act, the clean image, that is because if she taps into the Christians are going to be able to buy her records in droves. If you want to sell as many CDs as she has sold, you have to understand your demographic. You have to understand the people which actually buy your CDs. And these are small girls, right? And not only small girls, you have to think of like the family structure that, okay, where is the money? The money is with the parents, and the parents are going to support the purest form of artist. That is why Will Smith became so successful as well.
Once the pop landscape started to change the late 2000s and early 2010s, that's when she started to transition to making pop music. And now to talk about white girls. White girls don't have sex. They don't know what that is.
True.
White girls they're cute, they're adorable, they're like dolls, they're precious, they have to be protected. Do you remember a couple months ago whenever parents would bring their kids to Sabrina Carpenter shows and then act aghast because Sabrina Carpenter, who is a highly sexual artist, was referencing sex on stage? Of course they were, because how could a short, cute little white girl who is also blonde?
Let us not forget that Kanye West is one of the biggest reasons why Taylor Swift became as big as she became. Because I think it was around the 2010s when Kanye West at the VMA show went up and had that whole incident with Taylor Swift. And that's what catapulted Taylor Swift into a different stratosphere.
How could she possibly know what sex is? It's the assumption. A woman having sexual freedom and willingly engaging in sex is highly associated with blackness. You can see this most clearly when it comes to things like Disney and Nickelodeon stars. Miley Cyrus, she was Hannah Montana, all-American girl. And what does she do whenever she wanted to shed the Disney image and say, hey, I'm not just a little girl anymore? She releases Can't Be Tamed in bangers. Ariana Grande, another cute little white girl. What does she do whenever she wants to shed the childhood image? She releases Dangerous Woman in Sweetener. They would do things like hang out with rappers. They would incorporate black music styles into their own music. So that way, whenever they'd be sexual, it's like, oh, I'm not just a little white girl anymore. And over time, they would drift away from that because that wasn't who they authentically were. They were just using that as a way to escape the chains of being a white girl. Taylor Swift has never had to do that, and why would she? She makes being a white girl so profitable. And the thing about Taylor Swift is that being a white girl is not just profitable for her, it's her entire brand. Because she's just like so awkward. And whenever she dances on stage, she's like bad because she's like awkward. And she loves like cats and baking and like hanging out with her fans. And she would likely continue with this forever, except for one small problem. Taylor Swift is 35 years old, and it's not like she's showing signs of aging or anything, but the brand of being a white girl is very...
But do you guys think that she's just acting, or do you actually think that maybe Taylor is actually authentic?
...much being a white girl. What happens in a few years whenever she's 40? What happens whenever she starts to get wrinkles? Since you're middle-aged, it's not cute anymore to be awkward. So she's aging out of being a white girl, but she doesn't have a brand or really even a sense of self outside of being a white girl. Also, low-key, this is the entire key to her relationship with Travis Kelce, which is not going to go well, but that's a story for another day. And keep in mind, the world has been moving on. An artist like Sabrina Carpenter could not exist 10 years ago. There was nowhere in the pop landscape for her. For like a cute little white girl who's that sexual. It didn't exist. And then on top of that, things have been rapidly changing politically. Okay. So people want different things from women now. And the life of a showgirl is a testament to Taylor's inability to rise to the occasion. Like on the song Wish List. Oh, everybody wants bright lights and designer things, and they want like a fat ass. But me, then we get to the chorus, but me, I just want to have all of your kids. I want to have all of your kids, and then I want to live in a house, and I want the driveway to have a basketball hoop in it for our kids. And Taylor's personal struggle between her being her own woman and her being a cute little white girl is really embodied by the song Wood. It's called Wood because it's in reference to Travis Kelce's, that. But the song isn't sexual at all, because the song isn't about sex. It's about a woman justifying the fact that she has sex. The song starts with her picking petals off of a daisy. Oh, he loves me not. Taylor portrays herself as being super insecure until Travis Kelce digmatizes her and opens up her eyes. And keep in mind, white girls cannot be sexual beings. It's not that she has sexual feelings, it's that a man came along and unlocked it in her. The curse was lifted. You see, you guys, it's not about sex at all. It's about love. His love was the key that opened my thighs. I don't have sexual feelings. I'm just a little white girl. Because this album is supposed to be her embodying her sexual energy, thus, life of a showgirl. But Taylor either feels unable or isn't willing or whatever it is you want it to be. Taylor doesn't actually embody it. She doesn't explore it because the embodiment of her sexual energy would come at the expense of the brand of Taylor Swift. It's seemingly not compatible, or at least she thinks or her team thinks that it's not compatible. So she has to be her own fully embodied grown woman in order to keep up with the times, but she also has to be like a cute little white girl in order to keep up with the brand of Taylor Swift. And in trying to do both, she successfully does nothing.
A lot of Taylor Swift songs, the most popular songs that she made before, was because she was in, I guess, a dark place. But Taylor Swift, just like Kanye West and other artists, can't really create from a joyful place, because Taylor Swift has transitioned from, I guess, being the heartbroken girl to now being a girl that is in a relationship, and that does something to your creativity. I'm an artist myself. I know how it is, right? Days when bad things are happening to me, that's when I get like super creative. Like if I have to work a 9 to 5, that is when I get creative. I do not get creative when everything is good.
I'm so sorry, this has to be said though.
Okay.
I truly believe the only reason that Taylor Swift is as famous as she is because the most average, like unspectacular, boring, victim complex, self-absorbed girls who are so hung up on their middle school boyfriend for cheating on them by the bleachers when they're like pushing 40 now.
Yeah.
They see themselves in her. They're like, oh, that's me. And if she's that talentless and mid and boring, and she's that famous, she's a billionaire, then that means I can do it too. And it's very disturbing.
I've got some issues with this album. Number one is the marketing, okay? I worked in advertising, I still work in marketing, and I believe strongly that you owe your consumer accurate marketing for the product that you're selling, especially if during tough economic times you're going to pressure them into buying limited edition variants of an album that they've never heard, and then the album has kind of nothing to do with any of the promo, with any of the visuals, with the title. I just find that odd. If this was the album she wanted to make, fine.
People were thinking when she released this album that this was going to be kind of like a heartbreak album, that they were going to get the same Taylor which they've always gotten, but the album did not deliver on that. So how are you going to feed all of these women which are complaining about their boyfriends, which hate their boyfriends, which hate men, if you now have married the enemy? So there's a huge conflict and a huge divide, And I don't think that Taylor really understands what she has done yet.
Call up my fiance has a huge and do the photo shoot in lingerie. I'll still buy it. I just want to know what I'm getting. Second, she spent years showing us the power of girlhood. She really did. She showed us that women, when we come together, we can change culture, that we can fill stadiums, that we can boost economies, and that, you know, we are stronger together. And then she spends one of just 12 tracks tearing down not just a woman, but a fellow artist. Because, what, this girl called her boring? It doesn't seem like that huge of a crime. Also, if you zoom out, millions and millions of us were willing to pay literal rent money just to sit in the nosebleeds because that's how not boring most women think that she is. But she's not focusing on that, which I find to be sad. And then, I don't know, last but not least, it's like the message of this album and some of these songs, the more I listen, it feels weird. Of course, she can be in love and be happy, but what is the message of this album? It's just like...
Life of a Showgirl by Taylor Swift really reinforces a lot of like the covert anti-blackness that I get from her creative output. And it all really comes together for me, specifically in Eldest Daughter. I'm gonna just read for y'all the pre-chorus into the chorus, and then maybe together we can identify my issue with this song. Pre-chorus. I have been afflicted by a terminal uniqueness. I've been dying just from trying to seem cool. But I'm not a bad bitch, and this isn't savage, but I'm never gonna let you down. I'm never gonna leave you out. So many traitors, smooth operators, but I'm never gonna break that vow. The song is obviously about her relationship with Travis Kelce and how it's contextualized in like the larger pop culture narrative of their lives. When you hear the phrases bad bitch and savage, I know damn well you are not thinking of any single white woman ever. When you hear bad bitch and you hear savage, you are thinking of the Nicki Minaj's, the JT's, Carishas that helped popularize that in the mainstream. And when you hear savage, I know damn well you're probably thinking of Rihanna. But this shit is so crazy when you think of Travis Kelce's ex being Kayla Nicole. He was with that woman for 5 years. She is a very stylish, successful, beautiful, bad bitch type of influencer. And the way she mentioned the whole relationship on Opalite is different if you look at it in a very like solitary context, where she's just like, yeah, I'll love you for real. That
I think a lot of white women have problems when white men are dating black women and vice versa as well. Why? I have no idea, because I've never asked any of the girls which I've dated, have you ever dated a white man? That question never crosses my mind. So it has to do with a certain insecurity which people just have. I don't know if it's maybe like a sexual insecurity. I have no idea what it is. I'm not going to dig too deep into it. But I do find it fascinating that she is talking about bad bitches, because it's a very nifty way of saying what she wants to say without really offending anybody, because a bad bitch is, I guess, so vague as well that if you use that term, you can use it for any girl.
That other girl was just like opposed to you. She was just Instagram for you. But when you further contextualize it in Life of a Showgirl, and then you get to this track, you can recognize just how Taylor Swift like has a very flawed framing of black women, because she's not recognizing like the racial undertones to that bullshit. And that's just me trying to be nice and optimistic about this interpretation, because deep in my gut, I feel like she's very aware of the conversation that black people in particular were having about the optics of like Travis Kelce dating Kayla Nicole versus him dating Taylor Swift, and the switch up that happened there, at least aesthetically. And this may be super cynical and a bit kooky, but it gives credence to the conspiracy theory that she basically pulled a bunch of data from Grok to pinpoint conversation topics that she could then make an album with. Especially when you think about how she has one of the largest fan bases on social media and how they abuse Grok in their little Stan Twitter war.
If this is nefarious, it's gonna come out, but I don't think that she's a nefarious individual. I think she's just a capitalistic individual which wants to make as much money as she can. And is there a racial element? I don't think so. I think one needs to be above the other. White women want to be the most attractive, and white women want to be the most desired. It has nothing to do with race. It just has to do with greed and being selfish and self-centered. That's what it has to do with. But leave it in the comment section. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.